Welcome back for step 3 and 4. We're going to do both of those together in this section. If you want to look back at the case notes, you can click on the button. Otherwise, I will continue. In this step, it's time to create a plan for development with learning objectives and a course map. What factors should I consider when selecting technology? For the third time in, so you can decide if you want to pause or continue. I get S is the shortcut again. I'll give you 3 seconds to decide if you want to pause and make your own choices. Continuing on, considering what factors should I consider when selecting technology? From the section, my choices are make sure that it aligns with the meeting the objectives, and a lot of this comes back to that needs analysis because the objectives line up with the outcomes. Determine what the purpose of the technology under consideration is, and I found this one interesting because there was some emphasis on determining what the purpose of the technology is and matching that with the purpose of what you're trying to accomplish, what the experience you want for the learner, because you don't want to use the technology for something it's not intended to in a way that makes the learners have to learn the technology in a new way, or at least if it could be avoided. And use criteria to determine which technology to select. And some of the criteria that they suggested are functionality, cost, ease of use, features, networking, security. And some of the reasons that I did not select technology that's in the organization software suite, they said consider that, but don't select it because it's in the organization suite. And then last one, let the IT professionals choose the best technology to fit the organization. They said consult with IT professionals, but in my own words, take responsibility for it fitting the learning objective. Moving on to step 4, we're still in the design phase here, so I'm fitting these together. The final plan for development with learning objectives and a course plan is almost done. What elements should I be certain to always include with design output? I won't repeat here. You can decide. Again, I'll give you 3 seconds to decide if you want to press S to pause. Continuing on, my choices for what elements I should be certain to always include with the design outputs were these two, and these were two that they specifically mentioned in the section. Required technology or special equipment and recommended modality, and I'll talk more about those. What we've looked at so far in the design section had to do with creating the course map, and there were 3 parts to that, including the details on what details should be included in each objective, include components in each module and what those components should be, and then a special emphasis to always include the modality and technology and special equipment. Feel free to stick around as I go through some of those specifics, or if you're just following along with the case, feel free to stop there. The map should include a list of all the objectives, and then each objective should include some details, and these are the 4 details that they said should be included. The first is special teaching points. The second had the most discussion or had the most related issues, topics in different sections. So the suggested instructional methods, 2 things, or let's say 3 things to distinguish: formal versus informal learning, So making this suggestion, making the determination of whether it should be planned with activities and agendas or whether it should occur naturally in everyday life. And then what the modalities should be, formal or informal. Some formal ones are instructor-led training, online training, certifications programs, or informal. They suggested asynchronous options, self-study, paper job aids. And then to consider some factors that might come into play, what the objectives are, costs or budget, what the learners know, how much time is available, among other things. The last two, what the media requirements are, and testing requirements. There should also be a list of module names or suggested module names, they said, and then the details about each module should include 4 things. What the objectives are for that module, what the trainer and learner activities are, the knowledge content that's needed to complete each task. So one of the ways I've seen this play out for us in our company is an outline of the topics, because that frames it, and whatever assessment mechanism will determine if the objectives are achieved. And then there's some other factors to consider. Elements to include with every design output are these 2, recommended modality and required technology or special equipment. The recommended modality may be different for each objective, so just to refer back to that, what I already discussed is the modality for one objective may be instructor-led, and say if it were a blended course, there might be a webinar or something asynchronous for the modality in completing another objective. For required technology or special equipment, they discussed different types of technology that might be considered. So some technology might be for design and development, course management tools, video producing tools, content capture tools. And then there's presentation software, collaboration tools, simulation tools, and AI for delivery. We have almost finished the end of the case. Next time we'll finish up steps 5 and 6, and that will be it.